So basically, to start off, as you can see, it's pretty tall, but it's like also like a little baby form kind of thing, right? It's not anything like super super like strong. The thing with these creatures is that they're gonna have like different forms, obviously. Like there's gonna be like a later form and then like an earlier form, and like the tinier, more smaller creature, baby version of them is going to be there's gonna be many creatures that have that, right? So, well, I figured this one could be like taller than like I mean like one idea could be like they're taller, it's like taller than the rest, but it's still kind of cute and like small, right? So like just imagine every other creature being like just a little bit shorter than this one just because it's like a tall kind of thing. Yeah, that could be like an idea. And another idea I was having at some point was like maybe it could be some kind of crystal. Like how everything has like an element? Crystal. Maybe that could exist in the world, and maybe like crystal could be one of the elements that are in the world basically. So like I was thinking like maybe its like special thing could be crystal, if that makes sense, like something like that. But you know I don't think I try that every now and again, but I don't actually stick with it, I guess you could say, just because I don't think that it works. It doesn't really fit for me. And then I also try making it fluffy. I try making it fluffy. I try giving it a fur collar at some point, but I'm like, just I don't think I want the fur collar, right? Like it's just it's not the right type of fluffy, I guess you can say. Like that's yeah. So and then I also keep retrying. This retrying situation, I think that a major reason why I keep retrying to make it is because I don't want it to just be a deer, right? Like I don't want it to be something real. That's not the point. The point is to come up with something that is cool, fictional, and it could be adorable, it could be fun, right? But like I don't want it to be like something real that you would actually see. So I think that the problem here was like I had like a lack of something extra, like something special that would make this creature cool and unique, I guess you can say, right? And that's why I kept redrawing it, I suppose, because it was like, man, I just can't figure out what does this character need for it to actually be different, right? For it to be something that like isn't normally seen. And then eventually I get like, well, I don't know if frustrated is the word, but I definitely do get a little, some sort of kind of exhausted from like constantly trying to make something that I just, I can't uh, think is like, I guess, like a satisfying result, right? If that makes sense. So, what I end up doing is I go to, I think I went to go eat food, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take a break. But I left it like this. And as you can see, it's like singing. So it could be like at the time like it being some kind of like music element sort of thing is like was cool. Like look at this, like this actually could work, if it just like sang and it was like one of those like it could be like a singing kind of deer. So singing like like music, right? But when I come back it's just like I just chose not to use it. I'm like, what, let me do something else, right? So I eventually went back to crystal. As you can see, I start putting like crystals around the neck, and that's like, I'm telling you, I don't think crystals were the way to go. But I also tried putting crystal hooves at some point because I'm like, maybe it can be some kind of crystal element, special thing for it. But no, I'm not doing crystals. I don't think it's a crystal. Maybe the crystal element can go to something else. Eventually I get to this fluffy tail, but this fluffy tail, to me, right, maybe to you guys, like because you haven't like seen it yet on this character until now, but this wasn't like something super new. It was something I've had before on another character. And actually the reason why I was like, I guess, doing this character was because I had started another character that was like from a similar, like it's a similar kind of inspiration of like trying to make some kind of deer creature character, right? But it like the whenever I drew it back then, it did have this kind of fluffy tail. So this was me trying to be like, you know what, let me try adding this because like obviously I guess I'm trying to make this different, and this is like one way to do that because I already like I guess I might have I already had this idea, right? And I'm kind of incorporating it here to see if I can utilize it, right? And it does end up working out. Um, as you can see, like it's just there. and it's fluffy. But from here, as you can see, it's still sort of plain, right? It's like this can't be it. Right? Like the fluffiness is fine, right? Like you could totally put the fluffy tail there, but like this isn't it. Like you gotta add more things to it, right? Like this there's got to be more to it, right? So and then eventually I put a flower on it, and I also put some kind of plant that goes from like that's in the front of it. So now we're getting somewhere. Do you see this? Like there's a flower growing on that tail, and there's like a plant, like a little like I guess a little baby plant that's just in the front of that tail right there. And you can see. So the idea here is that this fluffy tail is very awesome. Things can grow on it, right? Maybe, and I'm thinking like in the future, like maybe like berries or just like things that are capable of growing on this tail, and I guess flourishing and having a good time just being there. And that green plant is just it's cool. It's there too. I don't have much story details on what's gonna go on with this, but like obviously that's cool, right? I'm just thinking that this like fur is like special. The fur can grow things basically because it's cool. It's good for plants. Now, do you remember how like giraffes have like some sort of like antennas that have like fur things on it? So those are cute, right? And I figured well, so it's not the reason why I do it, but it does kind of like if you think about it, it does kind of like have like a similar look to it. But these antennas are like little budding plants, right? Like little budding flowers. So like thinking like how this creature is like the baby form of something, right? Or like the the first form of something. Uh yeah, these flowers are just little baby flowers. They're not like they haven't bloomed and become like I guess like really what do you call it? They're not like their final flower form whatever. It's just a little baby whatever, right? They're just growing. So they're flowers that are like budding basically. So what you're seeing me trying to do here basically is trying to put fur on you know how like there's like the fur thing on like the tail? Well, basically I'm trying to do that with the ears, right? I'm trying to do that with the ears basically. Uh I guess I had the idea at some point like, oh, maybe I could like it doesn't have to like it could just be on it could be on like the ears too. And it could be have like its little like fur things on the ears, and I guess that was an idea at some point. And then at some point I put fur on the hooves. And then I think it's like the cutest thing. So it becomes something that I try to keep basically. Like if you see that, it's like normally like you would have like hooves, right? But like I thought that like having fur coated so it's like fur boots, I thought it was like really like I thought it was like a cute idea. So I thought, hey, I'm like yes, right? Like right there. Yes, great idea basically. Okay. And if you notice, so you see where the ear is right now? You see how like where it is, it's like I guess sort of like at the same length as like or like the same kind of position level of the eye. Well, I guess at some point I decide, maybe that's too low for the ears, so I do end up trying to like I guess like put it up a little bit. And yeah, I try and I keep trying to change the ear. I keep messing with the ear basically because I move it up slightly because, I suppose that I felt the need that like to change it, like I needed to do something with it maybe. And then at some point I actually do end up putting the fur there, and yeah, it's pretty cool. So I end up like liking the idea and keeping it there for a good while. Oh, here we go. For a while, guys, I had trouble with the chest. So the chest is like if you look at the chest basically. Uh Honestly, like right here, I guess this was like a good amount of like a time was spent trying to keep the like a good amount of time I did have the character like this, right? And I felt like it was missing something. I felt like in the front area where the chest is, I feel like it needed something there. Like it wasn't finished, it was incomplete. Whether it's like a pattern or like fur or like a flower, like just something, right? Like I like something that that needed to be there, but there's also like the, I guess, the struggle of not wanting to do too much, and that's kind of like why I don't really stick with anything basically in the front right there, right? But again, that whole too much thing, like I do try end up I do end up trying to get rid of like the, I guess I try to see what happens if I get rid of the fur boots. Although I do want to keep the fur boots, like I do really want to keep them. Like I don't want to miss out on them, and I do want to keep the fur on the ears. So it's like removing the fur in the ears and then putting something on like the neck, chest area, or do I just not put anything there? Like it just feels like incomplete to me. So it's like removing one from the other. Like I didn't want to put too much, but I also didn't want to remove any of them really, because I was like, oh, I kind of like this. So I was stuck in that sort of like, I guess, situation basically, right? And then apparently I tried changing the ears again because I guess because why not, right? And then I end up with whatever this is. Yeah, whatever that is basically. And then it's the chest, man. I keep trying to put, things there because I'm like, there needs to be something there, right? Like I need to like that ends up being like a struggle for me, is like I can't figure out exactly what I could put there for it to be something that, like, you know that could be enough, like for it to be like a finished design, I guess, right? So days later, I started, like, I guess, like I came back to this and then I tried adding more to like the ears, and it's like something small, but it's like great. Like I actually like this. Like you see how like there's like the little spiky or like fur whatever's on top of like the ear. I thought that was really cool. So it ended up being something I'm like, yeah, like it's great, and I was like really happy about it basically. Oh, and then I end up coloring it in, which isn't something that I normally do, I guess, right? Like I have colored in the eye, um, for like other creatures or like just simple things, but I didn't actually. Like I sketched it in basically is what I'm trying to say, right? I thought it was really cool. I thought this helped me, like, I guess, look at the character in a different way. I thought it was fine. Like I could keep it this way because, again, if we come back to the whole point of this, a major point was to draw something and to have a great starting point. It didn't have to be finished or like a perfect design. It just needs to be something that, like, that exists as a new character basically, and I can keep adding on to it in the future, and it could be this thing where like I continuously add to it until it's like a finished one if I end up liking it. And honestly, I think I do like this creature. I think it's really cute. I think it's something that could be could probably make a person smile and it could fit in the world basically, and it's cool, and that's pretty much where she's at now. I hope that this was fun for you guys in some way. What can I call this? I have a name. I don't have the best. I'm not the best at coming up with names, and if I can't think of a name like really quickly right now, then I'm just gonna come up with. I'm gonna give you the one that I came up with before this, which was. It's not the best name, but it's like something. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just gonna call it Rosadear for now. It's not the greatest name. Its name will be Rosadear, and I am not. I will change that in the future, just because. Yeah, some things need a better name, and maybe that's you right here, right now, Rosadear. You probably need a better name. So yeah, that's gonna be the placeholder name for now. And that's pretty much it for Rosadear here. This little creature guy. I hope that this was fun. I hope that you guys enjoyed this in some way, and I hope that you guys have an amazing day. Thank you so much, guys, for being here, and take care. I will talk to you in a later video. Take care, guys. Bye.